So I'm happy that you're here at Miracle Sessions. It's great to have you here, that you joined in this class. We start a new series with Miracle Sessions, and so what did change? Who knows what did change? Maybe that what we're looking for, that what we're actually connecting with doesn't change at all. And so today we use chapter 15 from the Urtext, the introduction, and we use lesson 63, and all this has to do with no worries, no cares, no anxieties, rest, 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 rest. So let's first start with relaxing and coming into the place where there are no worries, anxieties and cares. And leave everything behind what we don't need to hang out there, to be there. So we will read about that later on too, but now it's just, let's already start practicing it. Why not? Since we're here, since we're looking for stillness, for, recognizing the true nature of our being, this is our chance. So here is light, here is love, here is stillness. And we enter into that by just letting that be, not by doing anything. By maybe letting go of things, letting go of our thoughts, of our ideas, of our occupations, of our concerns, of our cares, of our worries, of our anxieties. See, and then we just have the possibility to become still and experience some more spaciousness in our mind. Like, oh yes, this thing is still chattering, but I'm not going to do anything with it. And oh yeah, all these things that I really thought was so important a moment ago, I don't think I need them right now. So I'm just letting that be. I'm just feeling here my presence, like feeling how I'm present here in this place where I find myself, in this chair that I'm sitting in this body that I seems to be occupying. Just feel all that. Just start with that. That's all right. So there's more spaciousness. There's more, space between your thoughts. There's more spaciousness in your mind, and you start to relax your body a little bit. And sigh and breathe and maybe move a little just to feel your system, so to speak. See, all in all, it's like this is your moment with yourself. If it is one thing, it is that, So it has nothing to do with anything outside of you. No, this is just for you. Like, this is the thing you have been looking for. The one thing that is all yours. Here it is. You can get as much of it as you want. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's great. It's like, that's not so difficult. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, why not just give it all the attention? Why not just be completely present? What am I supposed to think about tomorrow or yesterday? Why occupy myself with that right now? There's no need for it. So slowly but certainly we're entering into this place of no worries, no anxieties, no cares, but just completely still and here. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. See, that's not so difficult, is it? It's like, yeah, everyone can do this. Sure. Why not invite each other to do so? And just be open, receptive, watchful, without looking at anything. It's like, great. In the meantime, you can release whatever you feel that you want to release. Like maybe you feel emotions coming up or something that you were suppressing a moment ago. Just let it flow freely. Just like your thoughts, let them come up, but don't do anything with them. But don't suppress them or try not to think or something like that. No, you don't even have to do that. Yeah, that's great. All right, so this is a great, warming up for what we're going to do today, which is using these lessons to come to the same place. It's like allowing yourself to remember your true nature, allowing yourself to remember light and love. So I'm going to start with the review of lesson 63, and maybe do one lesson before that too, just because it's so great, which is from the Urtext. Let me see. Oh yeah, here's the review lessons are on page 327 of the second volume. And so it starts with 61. See, that's lesson 81. 61. I am the light of the world. How holy am I, who have been given the function of lighting up the world. Let me be still before my holiness. In its calm light, let all my conflicts disappear. In its peace, let me remember who I am. Some specific forms for applying the idea when specific difficulties seem to arise might be: let me not obscure the light of the world in me. Let the light of the world shine through this appearance. This shadow will vanish before the light. See, and then lesson 62. Forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. It is through accepting my function that I will see the light in me. And in this light will my function stand clear and perfectly unambiguous before my sight. My acceptance does not depend on my recognition what my function is, for I do not yet understand forgiveness. Yet I will trust that in the light I will see it as it is. Some specific forms for using the idea. Let this help me learn what forgiveness means. Let me not separate my function from my will. I will not use this for an alien purpose. See, and then the review of lesson 63, the lesson that we're actually going to do. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. My forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression through me. My forgiveness is the means by which I become aware of the light of the world in me. My forgiveness is the means by which the world is healed, together with myself. Let me then forgive the world, that I may be healed along with me, that it may be healed along with me. Some specific forms. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. And you fill in the name. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. My mother-in-law. Or something. I share the light of the world with you. You fill in the blank. through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Okay, so now we're going to the lesson 63 on page 316. And this is such a great lesson, especially with what we're going to read in chapter 15. So this was all, say, assembled for us. The light of the world. So please do this lesson with me. That would be great. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. How holy are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind. How blessed you are who can learn to recognize the means for letting this be done through you. What purpose could you have that would bring you greater happiness? You are indeed the light of the world with such a function. The Son of God looks to you for his redemption. It is yours to give him, for it belongs to you. Accept no trivial purpose or meaningless desire in its place, or you will forget your function and leave the Son of God in hell. This is no idle request that is being asked of you. You are asked to accept salvation, that it may be yours to give. Recognizing the importance of this function, we will be happy to remember it very often today. We will begin the day by acknowledging it and close the day with the thought of it in our awareness. And throughout the day we will repeat this as often as we can. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. I am the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. I am the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world. You will probably find it easier to let the related thoughts come to you in the minute or two which you should devote to consider this if you can close your eyes. Do not, however, wait for such an opportunity. No chance should be lost for reinforcing today's idea. Remember that God's Son looks to you for his salvation, and who but yourself must be his son. So we will be still for a moment and let some related thoughts come up with the ideas of the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. I am the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world. Thank you so much. That's great. That's great. So are the related thoughts that are coming up really related? Or are they tempting you to think a different way? To think in your normal, say what you call normal, human way? It really is different, doesn't it? It changes all the time. So it's nice to look for related thoughts that are supporting you, because they can just come in just like that, like forgiveness, and say the relationship with forgiveness and light, and the forgiveness and time, like it has nothing to do with time. So one of the thoughts that came up was like, yeah, everything that has to do with past or future is really like letting that go is really what forgiveness is. Hoping for a better future or a better past. Giving up all the hope for that is really what that is then. Is to let this moment be all that it is and not anything else. So and it is an amazing practice. It seems to be like an impossible assignment to do this, like to be aware that actually this is the only thing that's going on. While slowly but certainly you will go to the place where you actually see, oh my God, there's no different will than the will of God. My will is like, doesn't have a lot of substance to it. Like the things that I think I want, I really don't want. I can still ask for them, but I actually don't even want them. But how then do I live my life in this way? So all these things are coming up. So that's interesting to take a look at. And that's the same with what we use in the introduction of chapter 15, which is really like a Christmas chapter. So we will spread this out till Christmas, and there's enough material to work with. Because chapter 15, I just went through it, say, in the last couple of days to edit the recording of the reading of it. And then you see like every part of chapter 15 is really about the holy instant, holy relationship, the holy instant, practicing the presence. Really, it's like what Joel Goldsmith would say is like practicing the presence. But this is really practicing the holy instant. That is what we're actually getting ready for. See, and then the first two paragraphs that we're going to read of chapter 15 are controversial, really. For a human mind, they're controversial. Luckily, we have read some more, and we have some different experiences already. Otherwise, you would just run away from it and not feeling taken serious at all. And at the same time, also deep down under, feeling totally tempted to the provision that is actually available for us. And you will know what I mean when I start reading it. But see, the thing is, if I would have a talk with someone and someone declares his situation, like, okay, this one is, I got a problem in my this and I got a problem in my that, and my health is not so good, my finances are a bit like sour, and it's not altogether really working out. So to have this provision, then seeing that, well, in the situation that I can see you, would my response then be, is like, in the situation I can see you, I see no reason for worries, cares, or anxieties. Like, no, not at all. See, that would not be acceptable. So in that sense, this is really controversial to like going straight up to your human way of thinking, which is so great because it has to be broken. It has to be seen for what it is. I think chapter 15 is a total help for that too. To still look at the idea of human identity as ego, and seeing what it actually is doing, where it's actually pointing at, and what it has in mind in order for you to succeed. It doesn't love you, it hates you, and all that. That will come back in the paragraphs that we're going through. But say today we'll keep it just at the introduction. So I will start reading the first paragraph. It's great. It's beautiful. So can you imagine what it means to have no cares, no worries, no anxieties, but merely to be perfectly calm and quiet all the time? Yet this is what time is for, to learn just that and nothing more. God's teacher cannot be satisfied with his teaching until it constitutes all your learning. He has not fulfilled his teaching function until you have become such consistent learners that you learn only of him. When this has happened, you will no longer need a teacher or time in which to learn it. And time in which to learn. So can you imagine what it means to have no cares, no worries, no anxieties, but merely to be perfectly calm all the time and quiet all the time? So that is great to walk around with for a couple of days, to keep that as your purpose. Like, okay, so basically this is what I'm supposed to learn here. Like, that is so clear as what. And did you learn the lesson already? Are you perfectly calm and quiet all the time? Well, you succeeded. That's wonderful. So that's fun, isn't it? It's like, oh my God, there's so much to do and we have delayed ourselves so much. So this is our opportunity to keep at least our purpose clear. It's like, okay, no worries, no cares, no anxieties. Why not just be calm and quiet in this moment? What can really upset me? What is there that can upset me? Or why do I want something to upset me? Or maybe I can really practice this. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? It's like I can really practice this because it is my goal to achieve. Like I really can end up here by being completely calm and quiet all the time. And well, maybe you say like, well, that's not really what I want at all. I don't want that. I don't want to be quiet and say calm and quiet. No, I'd like some tension in my life, some adrenaline now and then. Like, well, no, that's boring, man. I really don't like that. Well, then it might take a little longer. But you will end up here because it's like you start to see the things for what they are. And you start to see your relationships for what they are. And you recognize your own function. It doesn't take away happiness. No, it is like, here is your happiness. It is the light and the love that you are that gets all the space to be. See, and that is say totally the opposite of the way that you think as a human being. So the lovely part in chapter 15, as we go through it, you'll see is that all these things that is described as the ego, as your self-identity, are really the things that you do as a human being. It's like, yeah, that is what you are as a human being. You are that ego with all these goals that it has and the certain outcome and the reason for every step. Like all the human affairs are so connected to that. That's just unbelievable. So the unraveling of that and seeing that that's not what your salvation will be, even though it wants you to believe that all the time, is of great help in the awakening, because you start to see, oh, wait a minute, I really thought it was love, and it isn't. I really thought that the way that I'm living now is okay, and that I'm actually in some kind of stable phase in which I can handle my affairs and everything is working out fine. Like, no, that is not what this is about. No, this is about coming to know your true identity and seeing it has nothing to do with all the human goals that you had in mind for yourself. So that's a real eye-opener. So, but see, look at it, that the response to any situation that someone that comes up to you would be like, I don't see a reason for cares or worries or anxieties in this at all. Like, no, why not? Why are you just not perfectly calm and relaxed all the time? And especially in this situation, what can possibly upset you? See, that's such an incredible confrontation. That's so controversial. And I love it, because I like to be shaken up by what is being shared. You know, I like to be shaken up and feel how much the conflict is rising when you read this. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I gotta be completely honest with myself. I can just say what I feel. I can say what I think. I can respond to everything. I don't have to filter that. No, I can be completely present in that too, and seeing that, yeah, I don't need to suppress anything, you know, and allowing myself to be honest. It's unbelievable. That's great. That's lovely. Like, if I still keep things for myself and try to not give that too much attention, but still allowing myself to not be honest, I see that it starts to, say, almost like to rot in my relationships, or I cannot be at peace when I do that. So that's the same with the very normal human things that you are used to. So these things are actually almost like they're rotting, you know, they're rotting. They seem to be quiet, doing nothing, but at the same time, it's like, no, it starts to stink, so to speak. It starts to stink. You don't want that. No, there's a way for you to have this healed, and say the light can literally turn every dark spot into light, because the light dispels the darkness. So that is really great. So with this, I will read the second paragraph too. But it's good to have this as a reference. Like, okay, this is my goal for being here. It's like to learn just that. That's the reason why I'm here. I was always looking for a reason to be here. Well, I found it. To stay here, say to be here present in this place with no worries, no cares, and no anxieties. But just be perfectly calm and quiet. So I have to learn that. So that's good to remember. Okay, so the next paragraph. Oh yeah, this is nice too. One of the sources of perceived discouragement from which you suffer is your belief that this takes time. So you probably already felt that. It's like, yeah, but that's going to take forever. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I really got to go through this and really clear this. Let this be cleared out in me. That's going to take forever. Okay, so here's something else. One of the sources of perceived discouragement from which you suffer is your belief that this takes time, and that the results of the Holy Spirit's teaching are far in the future. Right? That's what you think. Like, oh, how long is that going to take to wake up out of this? That's going to take a while, especially with me, because my God, there's so much to do. See, and then you see, like, no, the Holy Spirit doesn't work that way. He's not influenced by time. He doesn't work with time. So that whole story in your mind is not what the reality about your awakening will be. No, it will go in a totally different way. And be happy with that. You know, it's not ruled by time. That is so great. Because the Holy Spirit doesn't work with time. This is not so For the Holy Spirit uses time in his own way and is not bound to it. Time is his friend in teaching. It does not waste him as it does you. But all the waste that time seems to bring with it is due but to your identification with the ego, with your self-identity, who uses time to support its belief in destruction. The ego, like the Holy Spirit, uses time to convince you of the inevitability of the goal and end of learning. To the ego, the goal is death, which is its end. But to the Holy Spirit, the goal is life, which has no end. See, this is already where we start differentiating between your human identity, like the ego mindset, and God and the Holy Spirit, you know. So that there's already, like, that becomes more and more clear in this chapter. You will see it's unbelievable how much can be, say, cleared out in your even in your understanding about this, but also see that work in your life already. Like that's pretty wild how this is coming to you now. It is different than you think, but also it's you can't avoid having to look at what you are thinking, what you are doing in your mind, and with what purpose, trying to achieve what goal. We will go into that, of course, later on, but see, it already starts here with the ideas of ego. I'll repeat it once more. But all the waste that time seems to bring with it is due to your identification with the ego, who uses time to support its belief in destruction. So the ego uses time in the sense of it is certain of its goal. It's going to bring you into death. See, and this is like your idea about yourself can still be that you think that you walk around here for some time and will pass and will just not be there anymore. Like you have ideas like that, and here it's going to be, say, changed, because you're aligning with the purpose of the Holy Spirit and seeing that its goal is life, which has no end. See, the belief in heaven, or the belief in an afterlife, or the belief in something happening when you pass and then move somewhere is something that you've been brought up with those beliefs, you know, that. So you have, say, conscious or not, a certain image of that is actually determining how you think of that and how you use time. So that is really good to take a look at, and we're going to do that in the next sessions too. Because this is like, oh my God, there's so much opportunity for healing, and also getting things clear in how this works in your thinking with the most common, the common things that are, say, occurrences in life. You can apply that, you can see that in a different way, and that's going to be like, it's going to be shown to you how to look at this. So there's an amazing opportunity, an amazing way of receiving this. So the purpose of time is the chapter. So let me see. Oh yeah, the ego, like the Holy Spirit, uses time to convince you of the inevitability of the goal and end of learning. To the ego, the goal is death, which is its end, but to the Holy Spirit, the goal is life, which has no end. So later on in the chapter, it says too, is like the ego would also die if you would die, you know. So it has a way of even extending it beyond your death almost like, well, you will stay in hell forever, something like that. We'll see that too. So it's like, okay, there's no escape from this hell. Once you believe in your ego mind, in your self-identity. See, it comes with a lot of sacrifices. It comes with, no, you cannot do that. No, that's not for you. It is all limitation that's being offered. And then to see that when you are aware of it, that you have a choice in that, and that you can choose to hand this all over, or do this to work together with the Holy Spirit, or letting Him do the work for you, you see that there's a whole different way of passing through all of this, and actually waking up out of the dead, and coming to life in yourself. So that is like the immensity of what is being offered. All right, so this is great. So this is really about the introduction. So I don't want to go further, because the next, section is the uses of time, and that's nice to use as one part too, So I'll do that next time. So I would love to use the prayer of today to end this session, and to open up for some exchange together with you that are here in class, and see what happens. So the lesson of today is lesson 305, I think. Let me see. Here it is. Yeah, because yesterday we did this in meditation, let not my world obscure the sight of Christ. So this is also comforting. So this is a healing prayer that I'm going to use, and it fits in, of course, with the idea of no worries, no cares, no anxieties, and being perfectly calm, and calm, and the other word was quiet all the time. So there's a peace that Christ bestows on us. Who uses but Christ's vision finds a peace so deep and quiet, undisturbable and wholly changeless, that the world contains no counterpart. Comparisons are still before this peace, and all the world departs in silence as this peace envelops it, and gentle carries it to truth, no more to be the home of fear. For love has come and healed the world by giving it Christ's peace. Father, the peace of Christ is given us because it is your will that we be saved. Help us today to accept your gift and judge it not. For it has come to us to save us from our judgment on ourselves. Wow. Father, the peace of Christ is given us because it is your will that we be saved. Help us today to accept your gift and judge it not. For it has come to us to save us from our judgment on ourselves. There's a peace that Christ bestows on us. So that fits perfectly into this no cares, no worries, perfectly calm, quiet. So not letting, one of the other sentences that comes up is like, perception is a mirror. It's not a fact. So whatever you perceive is not a fact. It is a mirror. So what are you thinking? Are you thinking in using your Christ mind? Or are you thinking using your human identity mind, in which is full of comparisons and analysis and seeing lack everywhere? So this is given us today to judge it not. Let it be. Let it just like the leaves fall down. It's like let it all fall down and let this clear image come to us. And receive that without judging it in a new way that you are going to discover by letting that be and not filling in how that's supposed to look. So that's really lovely. So thank you for joining with me in this class, and we are going to continue in this class, but that will not be on YouTube. But thank you for being here, and see you soon.